In 2024, Ukraine destroyed the 23rd, 67th and 107th arsenals of the main Missile and Artillery Directorate (GRAU) of the Russian Defense Ministry, and on April the 22nd of this year, the 51st GRAU arsenal was destroyed in the Vladimir region. Defense Express experts explained why these facilities are important and how many more such Russian arsenals are in the zone of destruction of the Ukrainian armed forces. Experts explain that GRAU arsenals are separate military units that store strategic ammunition reserves from which they are then distributed to smaller warehouses. Therefore, in the structure of ammunition distribution, they are important logistics hubs. In addition, repair, maintenance and restoration of all ammunition is carried out there. Missiles, rockets, artillery shells, mortar mines and the like. That is, their significance is much greater than a simple storage place. It is a rather complex, they explain. Defense Express notes that there are relatively few such facilities in the Russian Federation. If we take the known GRAU arsenals where ammunition is stored in the zone of possible destruction of Ukrainian long-range weapons, then we are talking about 11 objects with such a status. Experts note, recalling that Ukraine has already destroyed 4 objects. At the same time, experts note that after the attacks in the fall of 2024, Russian troops reduced the activity of using artillery by half, from 40,000 rounds of various types of ammunition per day to 23,000. Also regarding the strike on the 51st GRU arsenal, it is noted that the exact amount of ammunition that was stored there at the time of the explosion is still unknown. The declared design capacity of this facility is up to 264,000 tons, while a Russian media report from 2009 cited a figure of 105,000 tons. However, the real scale of the explosions may become known in the coming days thanks to satellite images. Experts note, as reported on April the 22nd, ammunition detonated at the 51st Arsenal of the main Missile and Artillery Directorate of the Russian Ministry of Defense due to a violation of safety regulations. Subsequently, the National Security and Defense Council reported that Russia stored significant stockpiles of artillery shells, missiles of various types, including Iskander, Tochka-U, Kinzhal, ammunition for the Pantsir S-1, S-300, S-400 systems, as well as Grad, Smersh and Uragan at this warehouse. The arsenal is located east of Moscow and 530 kilometers from the border with Ukraine. Its approximate area is 3.5 square kilometers. In total, the 51st Arsenal of the main Missile and Artillery Directorate has 45 separate storage facilities and 30 ammunition storage sites.
Two people from Central Asia were preparing a terrorist attack at one of the petrochemical plants in the Nizhny Novgorod region on the orders of a Ukrainian curator. The saboteurs have been neutralized, the FSB Public Relations Center reported. Footage of the operation has been released. According to the agency, foreigners who share the views of an international terrorist organization banned in the Russian Federation planned to attack one of the petrochemical plants using FPV drones with improvised explosive devices. On the instructions of the Ukrainian curator, they seized the drones from the cache. During the arrest, they offered armed resistance and were neutralized by return fire. 2 UAVs with foreign-made explosive warheads, a Kalashnikov assault rifle and a Makarov pistol were seized at the scene. Correspondence with the curator was found in the migrants' phones, as well as the coordinates of a cache of weapons and firearms. A criminal case has been opened on preparations for sabotage. Recall, incidents of harassment and violence against Central Asians in Russia continue to increase in the wake of the March 22 terrorist attack at Moscow's Crocus City Hall. Russian authorities arrested 4 ethnic Tajiks and charged them with carrying out the attack that left more than 140 people dead. At least 13 other people have been detained in connection with the terrorist act, 11 of whom are also ethnic Tajiks.
During the Sultan of Oman's recent visit to Moscow, Putin's security detail considered a diplomatic gift of a ritual dagger a potential threat and did not allow the delegation to bring it into the building. As Kommersant journalist Andrei Kolesnikov reported during the visit of the Sultan of Oman, Haisman bin Tariq Al Said, to the Russian Federation, the delegation attempted to present Putin with a national gift, a large ritual dagger. But the Federal Protective Service FSO officers took the situation literally and did not allow the guests with the item into the Kremlin. The diplomats tried to explain that the item was a gift, a present for the Russian president, but the guards showed unwavering principledness. That's how it's done. The FSO representatives responded and suggested finding a safer form of delivery. As a result, the Omani delegation, headed by Ambassador Hamoud bin Salem Al Taik, was forced to go to the meeting without a gift. The dagger, according to the journalist, remained outside the Kremlin, and the meeting itself took place in a formal setting. Commenting on the situation, Kolesnikov noted with irony that the guests passed unarmed, which obviously in the logic of the FSO is the optimal scenario for any international visit. This case, although it looks funny, clearly demonstrates the level of secrecy and paranoia into which the security system of the first person is gradually sliding. Even representatives of friendly states are no exception to the regulations. The Kremlin seems to believe that gifts in the form of daggers are too sharp, not only literally, but also politically. In Arab diplomatic culture, gifts, especially ornate weapons, symbolize respect, trust, and alliance. In Russia's political reality, however, even such a gesture can be met with suspicion, if not alarm, by the security detail of the 73-year-old dictator.